Hi everyone, I'm Jim and welcome to the video of Uroboros, the 7th studio record by the band Dir En Grey. Today we're celebrating the 15th anniversary of the record, so I decided to go back and see if it still holds up or not. I've already reviewed the record's vulgar and the insulated words, so go check those videos out. My story with this band is quite simple. My friend from Greece showed me this band back in 2011. It was before the Doom Spiro record came out. I fell in love with their music and I've been their fan ever since. Uroboros is an interesting record for many reasons. The first one is the sound, it's very experimental. The second one is the production, it's not that great, and then we have a remaster which fixes some things but also ruins others. Diro also played this record live a couple of times. This is my favorite performance of it. If you haven't listened to this one, go check it out. It's beautiful and the production is way better than on the albums. What I love about this band the most is the fact that the lineup never changes. It's always Kyo on the vocals, he also writes the lyrics. Then we've got Kaoru and Dai on the guitars, Toshiya on the bass and Shinya on the drums. On this record they experiment with playing some other instruments like sitar, mandolin, biwa, congas and so on. The production is raw. On the original CD it was done by the band themselves, and on the remaster by Madsen, who also did Doom Spiro. I must say that both of the productions aren't that great to me. Like, the original one has awful drum sound, especially the snare. The drum sound, like, they weren't mixed at all. It's like a demo quality but worse. But I do enjoy the sound of the guitars and the bass. But on the remaster it's the other way around, like, the drumming is amazing, it sounds so tight, love the snare sound and all of it, but then the guitars aren't that loud like on the original mix, so I'm like, yeah, but at least the vocals are also louder, I think. It's so hard for me to choose which one is better, because the original one has better atmosphere, but the drums are ruining it, and the remaster has amazing drums. Love the sound of them, but I don't enjoy the compression, how claustrophobic everything sounds like. Message is diverse. The tracks are mostly about society, personal struggles, relationship issues, love, hatred, sex, revenge, pop culture, the band themselves. Some songs have anti-war messages, others are about sins and transgressions. When it comes to this band, the message is always unclear to me because I don't speak Japanese that well and the English translation might be wrong, and besides that Kyo also writes his lyrics like they have multiple meanings, so I personally don't dwell on the message of the tracks. I focus more on the instruments and how the vocals sound. Structure of the tracks is between basic and advanced. We also have one song with a technical structure, that's Vinushka. The basic structure goes like this: intro, verse, pre-chorus, chorus, bridge, chorus, outro. Advanced structure has more segments in between, and technical one is like 15 segments, and some of them do repeat, but most do not. Music-wise, this record is a mix of various subgenres. We've got some progressive metal, some death metal, some nu metal, some J-rock, some groove metal, some world music elements. I feel like on this record they took everything they love and mixed it together. The record starts with an intro called Sabir, and there are two versions of it. The original one is 2 minutes long, but on the remaster we've got an extended version that is like 4 minutes. We've got some weird melodies here, then Kyo is screaming, some weird ambient noises, and I don't enjoy both of the versions, especially the longer one. Like, why? Why would I wait 4 minutes for Vinushka to start? Like, what are you doing? This is the worst thing on this record. I don't hate it, but I also don't love it. I wish it did not exist. 5 out of 10 and 4 out of 10 to the extended version. Vinushka is over 9 minutes long and it's the most epic sounding song here. It's like a journey. I love the vocal performance here. Yeah, the vocals on the entire record are just superb. I love the singing, the screaming, the shouting, the yelling, the growling, the guitars, just everything is on point here. Kyo is one of the most versatile vocalists out there and I just love his voice. Next we've got the bass work and it's audible. The bassist follows the guitars, but we have lots of moments where he deviates from that stuff and he goes off on his own, creates some amazing memorable stuff along the way. I truly love the bass on this record. Next we've got the guitar work. It's responsible for the atmosphere. We've got some very cool eerie melodies. Some of them remind me of old school Korn. We also have some beautiful lead melodic guitar work, as well as more basic, crunchier and heavier guitar riffs. This record has it all. Last but not least we've got the drumming and it's stellar on the entire record. The drummer is very talented, he can blast beat, his double bass work is legendary, I love his groove, his style, the precision of his playing, the tempo changes, it's all here. Going back to Venushka, this is one of the better songs on this record. I love its vibe, the atmosphere, the guitar riffs, the bass, the drumming, the vocals, just everything. Love the music video as well. It's very serious, it's about USA bombing the Hiroshima. The song has a strong anti-war message and I just love all of it, especially the growling and screaming. Heavier sections are my favorite, but the chorus is also very beautiful and memorable. This is a classic song, but I prefer the live version. The live version just goes so hard because it has better production, so 10 out of 10 to the album one and 11 out of 10 to the live one. Red Soil, this is another experimental banger, while Venushka had more of a progressive death metal vibe to it. This one is much more crazier, it has more of a nu metal edge to it, especially the vocals, the growling, the screaming, that section with the I love that part at the end. It's so crazy sounding, like Kyo is insane. I love that part so much. This song is fun from beginning to the end. I love the guitars, the bass, the drum, just everything. As usual, I prefer the live version. 10 out of 10 and 11 out of 10 to the live version. There is also a bonus track, unplugged version of this song. It's very interesting to me. Music wise it's mostly acoustic stuff, but the vocals do differ a lot, but he still kept in the screaming and growling, so it's hilarious to me. Go check it out if you have never heard it. 8 out of 10. Dokoku to Saino, this is another fantastic song. While it isn't as good as the previous two ones, it's still fun to listen to. It's full of energy, it's intense, love the vocal performance, the screaming, growling, the singing. It slaps. I just feel like the instrumental work isn't as fun as on the previous and the next tracks, but I still dig it a lot. 9 out of 10. Toguyo, this is my favorite song from this record. I just love the opening guitar riff, and then the vocals. The vocals have so much identity here. This song is so much fun, it's atmospheric, it's memorable, every part just works. This should have been an ending song to some anime like Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. It has that serious tone to it. Love everything about it. As usual, I prefer the live version. 10 out of 10. Glass Skin, I do enjoy it, like the music is fine, the vocals, mostly singing, it's okay. There are two versions of this one, the Japanese one and the English one. I actually hear no difference between them, because when Kyo sings in English, it's hard to understand him anyway, so why should I listen to the English one when I just can't understand any word he says? It makes no difference to me. I do enjoy them both, but to me this song sounds like that generic J-Rock love song. It has that vibe to it. I'm sure the lyrics are much more serious than that, but these are the kinds of songs that just don't do it for me. I need some screaming, some shouting, some yelling, something interesting to happen, something experimental, and this song is much more laid back and, you know, not as interesting as everything else on the record. But I still think it's a good song. I always listen through it as I'm going through the record. 7 out of 10. Stackman, another song that is very experimental. Love the bass here, the drumming, the vocals, the growling, the screaming, the singing, the rapping, just everything is so fun on this one. This is a classic track. 10 out of 10, 11 out of 10 to the live version. Yei Ketsu Nariseba. This is the heaviest track on the record by far. Love the verses, the screaming, the growling, the anger and the passion in Kyo's voice. The drumming here is fantastic, same with the guitar work. I love the world music break in the middle. It has that Indian vibe to it. It slightly reminded me of Soulfly because they would do that on their first records, like incorporate those world music elements into their metal stuff, and here it's the same. Love it with all of my heart, especially that long screaming section. This is a classic song. 10 out of 10 and 11 out of 10 to the live version. Vayayami Tote is over 7 minutes long, it has an advanced structure, and it's my least favorite song on the record. While Glass Skin was that generic J-Rock song, which was fine, it was fun to listen to. This one is even more bland and uninteresting, mostly because of its length, like 7 minutes. It's hard to get through this song, I don't like listening to it. I have no negative or positive emotions towards it, and I guess that's the worst outcome you can have when the music is just like, I don't care. There is also an unplugged version of this one, and it's even worse to me. Like, at least the original one had some drumming and heavy guitar riffs. 5 out of 10, 4 out of 10 to the unplugged version. The next two songs were added to the remastered version. The first one is Hydra 666. This is a remake of the song Hydra, I think from the second record, Macabre. That song was okay, it wasn't great, it wasn't bad, but I actually enjoyed this remake a lot. It sounds like a completely different song, to be quite honest. It has more of a nu metal and death metal feeling to it. Love the vocals here, the screaming, the growling, the sing, just everything. It's fun from beginning to the end. Love the dark atmosphere this one has. It's not perfect, but it's fun, and that's what matters. 9 out of 10. Boogaboo Respira. This is like an interlude to the song Boogaboo. On the Japanese vinyl versions, this was a hidden track after Boogaboo. I don't know why it's before Boogaboo on the remaster. I must say that this is another song that I don't care for it, like, it doesn't have any music, it's just Kyo doing some vocals, and like, that's fine and dandy, but it's over 2 minutes long, and we are going to hear this stuff in Boogaboo anyway, so I don't know why this song exists. It should have stayed as a hidden track or a bonus track, to be quite honest, because it just fucks up the flow of the record for me. 5 out of 10. Boogaboo is another highlight of this record. The guitar riffs remind me of old school Korn so much, especially the eerie melodies. Love the vocals here, the atmosphere, every section, especially the chorus and the verses. But the bridge is also fantastic. I cannot complain about anything here. 10 out of 10. Gaika is my second favorite song after Toguro on this record. I love the heavy guitar riffs, the melodies, the drumming, the bass, the vocals, especially the chorus. It's just so beautiful, and the growling and the bridge. Love it from beginning to the end. 10 out of 10 and 11 out of 10 to the live version. Dozing Green is another song that has a English and Japanese version. As usual, I prefer the Japanese one because in the English one I can't understand a word he says. So yeah, this one is a fun song, it's much better than Glass Skin. Love the guitar riffs here, the drumming, the bass work, just everything. It's not a perfect song, it's nowhere near my favorite tracks on this record, but it's fun to listen to from beginning to the end. 8 out of 10. And the final track on the standard edition, Inconvenient Ideal. Now this is a great ending to this record. I love this one because it has more of a chill out vibe to it. It's much more somber and melodic. Love the vocals. This one even has some growling and screaming, which is nice. Love the atmosphere of this one. Again, not perfect, but sweet. There is also unplugged version of it, and as usual it's more acoustic, but Kyo still screams at the end, which is nice, but I prefer the original version. So 8 out of 10 and 7 out of 10 to the unplugged one. Besides the unplugged versions of Red Soil, Varia Mitote and Inconvenient Ideal, we also have 2 other bonus tracks on this record. The first one is Undecided. This is a remake of the song from the 2002 record Kiso. I do enjoy it, it has more of an Uroboros feeling to it. The guitar riffs are nice, the acoustic parts also. The vocals are okay, but I feel like the original version had much more energy and was overall better. So 6 out of 10. And the last bonus track is an unplugged version of Agitated Screams of Maggots. It's a song from the previous record, my favorite one, The Marrow of a Bone, and this version is probably the most unhinged thing that Dir En Grey has done. If you've never heard this version, go check it out. I am not sure if it's on YouTube, but it sounds deranged, like it has some piano classical music, but throughout the entire song, Kyo is screaming and growling even heavier than on the original song. And it sounds like my side project called Lord Kutanoid. It has the same energy, it's just unhinged. I am not sure if many people are going to enjoy it, but to me it's so funny that I like to listen to it. 8 out of 10. To sum it all up, the consistency is various and the flow is disrupted. Replayability, yeah, it's an excellent record. I love 95% of this album, like it's so much fun to listen to. The songs are just crazy. The highlights of this one for me are Venushka, Red Soil, Toguyo, Stackman, Reiketsuna Iseba, Hydra 666, Boogaboo, Gaika and Inconvenient Ideal. Also Agitated Screams of Maggots, the unplugged version. It's so funny. If I had to buy one version only of this record, I would go for the remaster because it has more songs. The original one doesn't have Hydra 666, which is a bummer, but it also has Sabir shorter, so that's a plus. It also doesn't have Boogaboo Espia, which is another plus, but it has slightly worse production, so that's a minus. So you have to either choose one or listen to both. I usually don't listen to this album, I just go and watch that live DVD version. Still, I highly recommend Uroboros. This is my second favorite record from Dir En Grey after The Marrow of a Bone. It's so interesting. Every song has its own identity. You cannot mistake them for each other, and I love that. Celebrate anniversary by spinning this record today, it deserves your love and attention. That's all from me, thank you for watching, don't forget to like and subscribe, follow me on my Instagram, links in the description. I will see you in my other videos. Also consider becoming a member on my channel so I can make you an album review or maybe a Doom MIDI cover. That's all, bye!